Tonight's guest on Set the Trend Live,
world-renowned DJ Spoony, next racing generation Carol Glenn, and UK recording artist Sinclair.
and now here come your hosts.
Oh, dude. Better late than never, though, right?
Yeah.
Is that
Anyway,
what is it?
Somebody's got a smile on their face. I wonder why.
I've always got a smile on my face, bro. Do you not realize that? No?
Yeah.
And you're not smiling? No?
It's what we call a plastic smile.
Yeah, but you're kind of plasticky kind of guy sometimes anyway, isn't it?
Plastic smile.
No? You seem happy, East.
Just singing me a Black Euro song, Plastic Smile.
Okay. So, guys, welcome. Welcome to Set the Trend podcast.
Yeah.
Reggie Styles, Mr. Eastender, is in the building for another tremendous show today. I'm really feeling today. How are you doing?
Yeah, all right. I was looking forward to Easter. I had my lined up ready to have my Easter eggs and everything for tomorrow, and have a nice fat piece of lamb tomorrow as well. So,
did you have cheese and bun, or cheese or bun? Which one?
I didn't even have bun actually. I had just.
I thought you had bun. I thought you had bun.
I didn't have no bun.
You just said so. You just did say that.
I didn't have no bun.
Okay. And how about you, East?
I'm all good, thank you. All is well. No cheese,
Anyway.
no cheese, no bun for me.
And what are you looking forward to today?
Oh my gosh! In fact, I'm waiting for the Spoony. The Spoony conversation is going to be interesting. I think it's one of the first times that we can actually speak football, talk football without it's in the program. We can talk golf. We can talk music. We can talk. I'm looking forward to that conversation. 100%.
And today's show is a boss show as well, isn't it? Really, it's about bosses today. And sometimes I really love those shows because it really shows people who are really operating in another kind of stratosphere, and really kind of gives inspiration to others. You know what I'm saying to you? So, boss. So pick up all of those coming into the chat room. If you're on Facebook, welcome. If you've just joined us, if you've never heard of us, please like and share. Just share the link, as we usually say on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, can you follow us at YouTube? Just tick the button, just tick the follow button, and share as well and spread the word. Street Sounds podcast. This is where we discuss everything to do with street sounds. We talk about the history, the culture, and we really explore the legacy of street sounds and the impact that it's had on British music. And also it's had an impact, and none more so than Sinclair, who will be coming up a bit later on, one of our British UK soul singers who had their big hit with I Want You Back. He'll be live in the building a bit later on, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Yes.
First time that I met him was today, as it goes. I don't think I've met him personally beforehand, even though he's, I don't think I got an interview like back in the day. So, but I remember slamming his 12-inch I Want You Back on white label.
Yeah. Again, another good conversation. We know the music, we don't know much about the man, and I think again today it's a great opportunity to find a little bit more about Sinclair, the artist.
It is, and we'll also be talking Formula One racing as well with Carol Glenn.
Or motor racing in general.
Yeah, that's right. I like that, Reg. Anyway, let's go with some more news before we get into our guest today.
We have some light-hearted news first before we start.
Yeah, we do. Versus Earth, Wind and Fire.
No. Before we do verses, we got some light-hearted, sad news. The Duke is no more. He's not
according to his title, isn't?
He's not in the series part 2 anymore.
Oh yes. In Bridgerton.
Yes, no more Duke in the Bridgerton.
But aren't they just playing a game there? Like, aren't they?
No.
Wasn't. But if you notice, they announced that on April Fool's Day.
A bit like your April Fool's Day joke.
I thought it was a good one. Personally. I thought it was a good one.
So Ray, so next week you can't have the Duke on there anymore, and you've also got a new name, another new name.
I'm not listening.
Ray.
I am responding to my celebratory emails. Okay. Where was we now? Let's get on to business because we've got a big night ahead of us. Versus Earth, Wind and Fire versus Isley Brothers.
Woo, woo, woo.
It's going to be massive.
One of the most iconic verses that I think they will have or ever have, to be honest with you. Two of our biggest all-time super groups. And it gets no bigger than the Isley Brothers and Earth, Wind and Fire. Who's Team Isley Brothers? That's you, isn't it, Eastender?
That's me, 100%, all the way, Team Isley Brothers. As you said, it's a perfect match. Well, not the perfect match. It's a good match. Isley Brothers, they started their musical career 14 years before the Isley Brothers, before Earth, Wind and Fire even made a record. So I'm not even sure how they're going to compete like that. And their catalogue is we can go toe for toe, song for song.
What do you think are going to be their nucleus? Give me 3 songs from the Isley Brothers that you think are going to decimate the place.
Well, it's so hard. You telling me
just give me 3. I'm only asking you for 3. It's not hard. I'm only asking you for 3.
All right. So first of all, I will go for Footsteps in the Dark. Yeah. Which is, the break that one of our guests really likes at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Talk about scoring that own goal for yourself.
Why is that? Own goal. And then, of course, we got Between the Sheets, classic love song.
One of the most sampled songs in history.
Sampled by Biggie Smalls, of course. And then I'm going to go for another love song. I think it's one of the greatest love songs of all love songs that can be. For the Love of You. There's no song better than that. Drifting on a memory. Ain't no place I'd rather. I'm a lover, not a dancer. Yeah. So those are 3. And I've still got many more to go.
Reggie, Earth, Wind and Fire, man, and so am I, mate. So what do you reckon?
Fire, 100%. Come on, man. We all know that Earth, Wind and Fire are the party starters. They are the party enders. They are the party middle jammers. Do you know what I mean? Any stage of your party, you can play an Earth, Wind and Fire song from Dance Boogie Wonderland to September. Oh man, Reasons for the love song. So when you're playing your little love songs part, feeling your body and all that. On Your Face, another big tune. Sign On, Love
Reasons.
Music, In the Stone.
You said only 3. But all right,
for the purists, In the Stone. Really,
right,
In the Stone.
Let's ask another question. Another question.
Listen, Earth, Wind and Fire are going to have everybody dancing big time. Rest in peace, Maurice White, by the way.
Right, let's ask another question regarding that. Which song between Isley Brothers and Earth, Wind and Fire fits into our street sounds culture?
Summer Breeze.
Yeah. By Isley Brothers. Earth, Wind and Fire, Reasons. Come on, man.
Here we go again by the Isley Brothers.
Okay, that's a big tune. Okay, My Love, Earth, Wind and Fire. Wanna Be With You.
Whichever way, it's going to be a big night versus, and that's not until May, is it? So they're getting a lot of promo on that, aren't they? It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow night, isn't it?
Okay.
It's tomorrow night, and as you said, the culture will win again on that one.
Exactly. Big up Selena Dion. Dion, that's what I'm talking about. Earth, Wind and Fire. Prue, yes. Alison Walcott, yes. Team Earth, Wind and Fire all the way. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Right. It'll be interesting to watch.
Tracy Angel, Sandra Prescott, big up.
So, and also, sad news at the same time. DMX has been hospitalized. It's a suspected drug overdose. He's been fighting those demons for a few years now.
Years, man.
And they reckon they're not sure if he's responding. His brain's responding, which is not too good. a hip hop legend, an acting legend. He's one of the first DJs to really forge out a good acting career.
Rapper.
Yeah, rapper.
We'll remember him in Belly.
Yo, that's
Can I just say, I just wish, sending my wishes to all of the DMX family. Like you said, he's had a lot of issues over the years. I was fortunate enough in circa 99 to be involved, 98 to be involved in his first ever albums in the UK. Also, I remember clearly mailing out that Rough Riders Anthem EP from the offices of Hard Zone. Stop, drop, shut him down, which, he's got the bangers. And also, I remember this great moment when I had to go and meet him to just, when an artist comes to the UK, you go and meet them to greet them. So we were meeting at there's a hotel in Maida Vale. I forgot what it's called. I think it was the Intercontinental or one of these hotels. And I remember him meeting us and saying, right, where are we going? And I said, oh, where do you want to go? He said, you want to go to Brixton? I said, oh, okay, cool. So we've got the security guy. We've got the driver outside ready and the old Chryslers. Remember, it used to be the Chryslers we used to use. Yeah. And he said, no, man, I don't want to drive. I want to take the tube to Brixton. And it's the most hilarious thing. Me, security guy, one of the guys from Mercury Records, jumping on the tube with DMX to Brixton. Got to Brixton, and it was around about school time. So we wanted to eat. He said he wanted us to eat. So we went into the KFC. We couldn't get out of the KFC. The word spread. The kids went absolutely crazy when they realized DMX was sitting in the KFC. We ended up having to hot-foot it out the back door. So I wish DMX all the best, and I hope and pray that he recovers.
What was he to be around? How was he to be around, Reg?
Very temperamental, but great, but fun. Temperamental but fun. I mean, I've got stories for days with DJs. I remember one DJ who I don't know what he said. He just said the wrong thing to DMX, and for the whole entire interview, he was asking a question, and DMX was going, "No, yes, no, yes." That was the interview.
Yeah, praise and thoughts with the DMX.
Actually, Reds was there. I think Reds was there as well. So big up Reds if you're listening. Remember that one. But I won't name the DJ's name to keep. I don't want to.
We'll do that one after the show.
Yeah, exactly.
So, let's move on. Next week, big show for us as well. I mean, they're coming thick and fast, these big shows here on Set the Trend podcast. Another favorite. I'm getting so much favorites every time that we do a podcast. Every week that we do one, I say, no, that's my favorite. I'll say, oh, that's my favorite. So I've got so much favorites at the moment. I'm really enjoying speaking to some of our legends. Next week is no different. Next week, we have a big interview with one of the greats of dancehall, reggae, soul, revival music. And he's British and he's an icon. I don't know if the producers have ready. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Thank you very much. There we have it. Rory Stonelove will be sitting down with us next week, and we'll be discussing his affiliation with Street Sounds, the juggling movement, amongst other things, history, and also what he's up to now, which is he's turned a music producer. So we'll be talking to Rory Stonelove from Stonelove, formerly from Stonelove Movements in Jamaica. So we'll have him live on the program next week, and I can't wait to be having a conversation with Rory. Also, we'll be talking to where you've gone. Hello, can I have that back up, please? Thank you very much. Thank you. Also, we'll be talking to the founder and groundbreaking person who created the Blackout Soul Awards, who is Triple C. She will be in there giving us a talk about her awards, what it's all about, what are the categories, who are the nominees. So we'll be talking about that next week. And of course, we have a special performance to finish by Tanqueray Haywood. Is that right?
Tanqueray Haywood, TQ.
Tanqueray Haywood, even. Thank you very much for that. She'll be our special performance to sing us out next week, Saturday night, 10 o'clock. So subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell and never miss an episode next week, 10 p.m. right here. Thank you. Right, let's get down to business. We have a busy show and I'm looking forward to it. If you're on Facebook, as we said, if you're on Facebook, can you please share the link for us and also subscribe to our channel? If you're on the YouTube channel, can you subscribe to the YouTube channel? And if you're on Facebook, you've never been to the YouTube channel, please go over there and subscribe. Okay. We going all bashment next week. Get back already.
Big up Lolly.
Rory might appreciate that. I mean, the guys definitely will. So yeah. So our first guest we have up and that we're coming to talk is a very special person as it goes, because he's one of those persons that are in one of those niche industries and are forging the way for not only for women but also for people of color. So we set the trend. Want to welcome to the stage Miss Carol Glenn. In fact, before we do that, we've got a video, haven't we? So let's play the video and then we'll get Carol up onto the stage. Producers, are we ready with the video?
There were very, very few women. In fact, women had only started coming within, like, I think within the last 10 years of when before I started. And I was certainly the very first woman of colour to join in 1988. I'm hoping to change that, change the scene of motorsport by bringing up more youngsters, so we've got more people of colour within motorsport coming up from the grassroots level.
So without further ado, can we introduce Carol Glenn to set the trend podcast? Can we welcome her to the stage? Thank you very much, producers. Hi, Carol.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi, Reggie.
Hello, Carol.
You. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And I have to say thank you for highlighting me, so I end up being on this platform tonight. I'm so grateful.
It's a pleasure to have you on here.
Yeah, because when Reggie kind of spotted you out and said what you do, we just said straight away, let's get you on and talk about that. We think it's very important. Not everything is music important for us, but there are some things that also transcend music. And what you actually doing, explain to me what your role is in. Is it motor racing and Formula One, or is it or can you explain that whole dynamics to me? Because we got a little picture of what you were doing, and I've never seen a black person do that ever. That's me. I've never seen any black person on there doing that. So it's a bit.
And can we say, if you want to watch it in full, sorry, if you want to watch that full video, we're going to put a link in the chat as well, and on our podcast page. So
yeah, Carol.
Good evening, everybody. Well, I'm a licensed official, volunteer in national motorsport in the UK. I started off as a marshal, and I'm now a clerk of the course. So I'm actually one of the people that's in the race control that actually organises and sorts out the race meeting, including when the race starts. I also get to tell drivers off if they do something wrong. I do drivers briefings, and I don't do the current Grand Prix, but I have been at British Grand Prix before officiating.
How did you get into that?
Well, I've always had a love of cars, which sort of lay dormant till I was much older. And then my then partner used to disappear off to Brands Hatch at weekends. I asked to go along with him. I remember sitting at post 5 on Drury's Corner, watching those cars come up from Paddock Hill Bend, and I fell in love, and I've been in love ever since.
So how hard was it to get over the hurdle of not being into it to being part of it? What was that? An application? Did you see a job role, or was it a friend? Was it networking? How did that go?
Well, as I say, it was from my partner. So he was a marshal. So basically, I effectively got in as a marshal. So as a marshal, you're a volunteer, and they take you through all your training. You start off as a course marshal, then you can go up to become a flag marshal, and then there's all different roles. And I then end up doing as paddock. Then I became a secretary of a meeting, and now I'm a clerk of the course. So it's all voluntary. I give up my weekends. I've missed birthdays, christenings, everything all through my life. All my family will tell you they've never seen me. They don't see me on the weekend because I'm always.
You've been doing this for?
Been doing this 33 years this year.
33 years.
Wow.
That is a long.
So what drivers was around the time that you started that we would recognise?
James Hunt. Did you meet James Hunt?
No, I didn't meet James Hunt, but Nigel Mansell, Damon Hill, Senna, Prost. One of my best Grand Prix was I was there as a spectator, and I managed to get Mansell's, Prost, Patrese. I think I got all the F1 drivers of that year, apart from Senna's. He was the hardest one to get hold.
Wow. Big up Senna. Really, so rest in peace.
Yeah.
You know.
33 years. That's some great dedication there.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. I mean, this is what I love about the sport: the fact that most people think you have to be a racing driver to get involved in motorsport, but in fact, you can become a volunteer and become a marshal, and within that, you can then become, as I said, a course marshal. You can become a scrutineer. You can become a timekeeper. You can become a clerk of the course, like I have been doing.
So, I don't know if I'm being cheeky here, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How many black people have you met along the way that are in that profession?
Less than 10 people.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. And why would you say that, or do you know why black people or people of color tend not to?
I think some of the issues I think is people don't know how to get into it. I mean, I have now been talking to people to parents of children who are doing karting. There's been a lot more kids now doing karting because since Lewis has started doing it. So there are a few more fathers parents taking their kids out doing karting, but they get stuck in karting. They don't know how to get into doing racing. They don't know how to get from karting into racing. And that's one of the bridges I want to do. Also, that people don't know that you can become a racing driver. You can do it as a hobby. You don't have to do it as a profession. So there's a lot of club racing is basically people just doing it as a hobby. Like you want to play golf, play football at weekend. You could do motorsport at weekend. People don't know because most of the race circuits are not near the areas where people live. So it's not near Hackney. It's not near anything in the cities. Unless you live near Brands Hatch or live near Silverstone, live near Donington Park, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know necessarily. If you go there, are you going to feel comfortable? Because are you going to see other people of colour? And you're not. And that's the thing. You're not going to see a lot of people like yourself. So that's, I think, also off-putting.
So one of the things... No, carry on.
So one of the things I've tried to do is also, I always try to invite friends down to come down and see. And there's a lot of people that have come down to say Brands Hatch. And if I'm there, I then take them around and show them how race control works. I show them the whole works. Because whatever happens in national racing is the same thing multiplied by 3 times the amount of people, which happens in Formula One. So,
Carol, tell us a bit. So you've got your own company now. Oh, your own charity. Is it a charity or is it a company?
It's a company and a charity. We've got the two arms of it. So after Lewis Hamilton started talking out last year after Black Lives Matter and diversity, and he started saying about how lonely he was at the top of his game, I thought, actually, Lewis, I'm here as well. And I've been here 3 times longer than you have. So I started speaking out. And then I got in touch with them. Then some of the parents I've been talking to in karting got in touch with me. We had a meeting. So I think it was in like July, August. I had about 15 parents on a Zoom call. And that's how Next Racing Generation started. So I said to them that I thought having an umbrella organisation rather than them all working on their own would maybe be better for us to actually forge our way through the sport. And that's what I've done.
So if I'm a kid from Southeast London, or even the top of Tottenham or West London, what would be my first steps to get in touch with the racing fraternity? How could I bridge that gap?
I'd say get in touch with me on my website, which is all the W's NRG Motorsport.co.uk. And then we've got a plan and a pathway now that we'll try and get every child into motorsport through either karting or into racing. I'm not going to say money's no object, but it's not going to be hopefully a drain on parents' pockets because we're hoping to have the funding in place that we'll better make sure we can cover all those expenses. So we'll own our cars. I'll have a team, and then the other thing we'll have is you don't have to just be a racing driver. If you want to get into becoming a mechanic or do automotive engineering or anything like that, we'll also have that because we'll actually want us to be a black-owned team with a wholly black team, i.e. of engineers, mechanics, people working on.
So how much I'm interested to know, how much would, say for instance, if we wanted to put out a set the trend racing car, what's it going to cost us? What are we looking at trying to raise?
Well, it depends on what sort of formula, but an average formula, you're looking at least, I'd say £50,000-60,000 a car. That's a lower range of the formula. If you're going to go up to anything into like Formula 4, touring cars, FP2, you're looking at over £500,000.
Right. Okay. So we were gonna. Well, that's the Range Rover that I was planned for Christmas gone then.
Yeah.
Carol, have you ever driven an F1 car?
Of course not.
No.
You have to be a special kind of person. The training that goes into consists. You can't just go and sit into a Formula 1 race car. But I have been driven around in a twin seat single seater at Brands Hatch, and that was awesome. That really was awesome.
And what speed do they go around? What is it?
89 to 100 miles. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, and I've also been lucky enough to be driven out in saloon cars, and I've driven a lot of different cars myself around the circuit, because I have to, as a clerk of the course, I have to either open the circuit or become part of a pace car. So I've driven at racing speeds, which is quite good.
I mean, I fortunately got to DJ at Silverstone at one of the F1 meets in the, they have the VIP party. Yeah. So I got to DJ one year, and big up to Dixon Brothers, who also do it quite regularly. And one thing I asked and I tried to get was to be able to drive in the safety car, and I didn't realize you can't do that.
Well, stick with me, Reggie. I can make your dreams come true.
I would love to get in the safety car. When they have a crash, and you know that person who drives out in the safety car.
Yeah, okay.
It'd be great to have. I want to be the first black person to drive a safety car.
There's one.
Okay, you weren't actually the first black person to drive a safety car, because I actually had in fact Luther Blissett's done that. So I used to get Luther Blissett to come because he's done racing, and I used to have him as a safety car driver. So
really?
You weren't the first, yes.
Oh,
so you weren't the first.
The first African then.
What is your dream car?
Oh my God, that's a hard question. I've got too many cars. Road car, everyday car would have to be an Audi R8. I've always wanted an Audi. But I love the Mercedes. I love Porsche GTs, and I love TVRs. I absolutely adore TVR cars as well.
Okay.
So you speak a lot in, I've done a bit of research and watched a couple of your interviews and listened to a few bits and pieces and read a few bits. Something about motor racing, which I find it's probably similar with tennis and also golf as well, why there is such a low representation of black people. Number one, as you spoke about, which is the financial side of it, but also the discrimination side of it. And I seen you openly speak about that. How has that changed over the years, and what kept you going? Because I know at one point you wanted to give up because of it.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time I've had a good time with it, but you do inevitably get that side of it that's just not nice. And when I first joined, I had to put up with an awful lot of banter. I mean, I got called Whoopi because I used to live in Lewisham at that time. People used to put on a Jamaican accent every time I came into a room. Wow. Or they'd say, "Be careful, she might come and pinch your stereo, pinch your tires." There's all that sort of inane banter that you have to just put up with. And I didn't know how to deal with it, how to shut it down. I think now I would know how to shut it down, but back in those days you just smile and you go along with it. But I was never comfortable with it. Also, although I've had some good experiences, I've also had periods of where I'm overlooked. There's that unconscious bias always happens, so I've watched other people, especially men, get progressed up in the system quicker than me, and I've had to sort of wait my dues or just have to work really harder and just wait. Sometimes you feel like you're begging for something, but I love the sport on the whole. I've loved the sport. I've done lovely things. I mean, I've been privileged to marshal at Le Mans. I used to go to Le Mans every year. One of my favourite races. I love sports cars. So to be on the post at the first chicane or the second chicane on Northern Straight, in all weathers, listening to those cars is just awesome. It really is awesome.
And it's like a bee buzzing. I've been to a couple of races.
It is. And I love historic racing. I've been to Monaco a number of times to see the historic Grand Prix at Monaco, which is better than going to the modern Grand Prix. And hearing original F1s going around that circuit and going through the tunnel is just it hits your stomach and your heart. So I love it. Absolutely love it.
Oh man, the closest I've got to driving, I remember I did a DJ gig in Abu Dhabi, and we stayed at the Yas Marina hotel, and they paid for me to do a drive around the track in Aston Martin. And it was just so exhilarating. It was thrilling. I enjoyed it so much. And, I can definitely relate and understand when it comes to the love for F1 and the glitz and the glamour on the, on the, what do they call it? When they parade on the, in the racetrack.
On the grid.
On the grid. Yes.
The grid walk,
where you get all your autographs of your superstars and stuff.
Yes.
Things like that. You know what, Carol? I have to say, as soon as I saw what you were doing, I instantly knew it was something that we definitely had to try and highlight. And we got to speak definitely off air about maybe some ways in which we can help to number one, highlight what you do, and secondly, maybe try and find a way to contribute to your business.
Oh, I'd love that. I'd love that. I'd absolutely love that. And I'd like to make an announcement as well, because one of the things that I'm doing is I'm working in collaboration with Red Bull, and so they've given me two events to put on for them this year. Well, one of them is they're making a film about race motorsport in modern Britain, which is going to be filmed in the week beginning the 24th of May. So I'm putting a call out for any kids or anybody that's over 18. Unfortunately, it has to be over 18. If you want to become an extra in that part of that film, you can go onto my website. There's an events page now. You just click on that and then select whether you want to become an extra. And they're also creating for me. Reggie, you're too old. Diverse
What is this ageism?
Kids. No, I saw your hanger. I've got other things for you in mind. Don't worry. I've got other things for you in mind. I've also got, they've also given me, we're going to have a work experience placement being created as well. So again, if you're interested, you don't have to like motorsport, but if you want to be involved in making the film, and they're creating a 2-week work placement. So you have to do the pre and post production of that video. So again, you can get in touch with me on my website.
What is the website address, Carol?
It's all the W's, NRG Motorsport on my phone there, .co.uk. And then also after that, coming in July, I'm being given the Red Bull eSIM Centre in Shoreditch. And again, people got to sign up for that. So I'm going to have a 4-day event at Shoreditch. We'll have 10 e-rigs. So again, people from, anybody from a diverse background can apply to me, and we'll get you to come down and you can have a go. And we've got lots of different funds and games and prizes and things to and maybe Train can come down and play some music for us. Never know, we might be able to do that as well.
Yeah.
So,
if you need anybody to do a bit of interviewing, myself and Ray are media trained. Not sure about
okay.
Talking about music.
Okay.
You've got a love for music. Tell us how you survived lockdown.
Are you going to embarrass me again now, aren't you?
Tell us how you survived during lockdown.
Okay. Lockdown started. I'm here in Buckinghamshire, High Wycombe, all by myself. And then weekends were the hardest. And then going through Facebook, up comes this page that says, click on here, listen to music. And I discovered Ray and Fifth Avenue. And that got me through lockdown all the way through. And then doubly on that, when Ray finishes, 12 o'clock, click over, I've then got Spoony. So that literally is what's got me going for the whole weekend. And to be on this platform tonight, I don't know how I've held it together to be so professional, because I want to fangirl about the whole thing. But anyway, it's been lovely. It's been brilliant.
Carol, it's been great having you on. We hope to meet you in person. We want to support your initiative, so please do not be a stranger. And we will talk soon. Carol?
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing.
Wow. You know what?
Wow, I forgot to get to vote for you for your award that you're nominated for as well. I forgot to ask her.
I will talk about that later on, but I'm really kind of chuffed about that, because if music to one side, trying to support initiatives like that, I definitely been very passionate for years. So just to see that set the trend can help that as well, and support different businesses on that is that's just what I want to do separate from this. You know what I mean?
And also it shows the link with street sounds as well, but like people in professions that you would never ever think of are into listening to what we do from a DJ perspective, and especially yourself, Ray, the Duke official superstar. I don't mean to big you up so much, but it's a great thing that the likes of Carol, who we see as just like amazing in what she does, and the fact that she's a fangirl of yours, as she says.
Kudos to what she's doing. I mean, it's great work, and it's 9 times out of 10 we don't know that these things are out there. So it's great that information has come to the platform, so it can go out to our audience and to the audience that's
and on a real, if the pandemic didn't happen, we wouldn't be probably supporting so much of our own businesses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so even though, you know, sad things and rotten things happen to us out of the pandemic, there is some good for us to look on and to focus. And if it's bringing us together closer as a community, then that's all the better.
And can I quickly mention also, you know, it can be done, because if you look at CK Flash, who's, you know, forging great things with the BMX scene as well. So, you know, it can happen, guys. You know, CK Flash is proof that NRG race in motorsport can be huge, especially within the diverse Black and Asian communities.
Right. So remember, if you're on Facebook, can you share the link for us, please, and follow the page? You're on YouTube. Can you subscribe? Press the subscribe button and follow us as well.
All right, here we go now.
Now, what do you right. Come on, Reggie. Big up yourself. Big up yourself and like social coverage. You know what I mean? This gentleman, he's been at the top of the game since lockdown. He broke a few records. He brought to us Black excellence. We didn't think, well, I didn't, and I'll be talking to him more about that. I didn't know there was another string to his bow like that. Being at the Royal Albert Hall, which is Garage Classics, he's really kind of pushing boundaries here and breaking records. And it's kind of an honor to be able to talk to him today. So without no further ado, Set the Trend welcomes a fellow DJ, fellow Liverpool supporter, DJ Spoony, to Set the Trend podcast.
Good evening, gents. Hello.
Seriously, you can tell the producer's a Spurs fan, you know. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
How you feeling, Spoony?
Today was a good day. No, I'm golden, man. Congratulations, guy. Amazing show. And I just want to say a quick thank you to Carol as well. Listening anonymously to Spinny's house. Thank you very much for the love. And more importantly, thank you for being an icon in our community. Just keep doing what you're doing, because I say to people, someone's always watching, someone's always listening, someone is always being inspired. So keep doing what you're doing.
100%, Spoony. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
Spoony, a lot of us know more about you as a garage DJ, a garage Dada, Godfather, and not so much about the rest of DJ Spoony, which we want to discuss today. So I think I need to take it back to school times. Where did you go school?
So I grew up in Hackney. I lived on the borders of Hackney and Islington. So I actually went to a primary school in Hackney called St Matthias, and I went to a school in Islington called Highbury Grove. So that was my secondary school and where my informative years were spent.
So when did music become a part of that?
Wow. It would have been, I think I would have been around maybe 14, 15. A friend of mine was playing at a local youth club, the Mayville. And I always give Steve Howard an honourable mention, because watching him go from one track to another track, and I knew my tunes, but I couldn't work out how he went from deck 1 to deck 2 without being any pause. And being a music lover is a skill that I wanted to learn. And Steve came over to my house and showed me how to mix. My mum wouldn't let me put anything in her kitchen until the kitchen was cleaned up. And I don't mean like washing the dishes. I mean clean the cooker, wipe down the sides, pack away the dishes. That was standard as a 15-year-old. And then then we put my Pioneer turntable. He had one, I had one. Citronic mixer on our Pine kitchen table, and right there, and then I learned how to mix, and it changed my life forever. So, but that was it. It was always from that point on, a pair of turntables were never too far away from me.
So, what was your first tune that you purchased?
You know what? I can actually answer that.
Good. I should think so. Every credible DJ should know the first tune that they bought.
I mean, I had a few records bought for me, and there was always, my mum had vinyl lying around the house. But the first record that I actually bought was Rolls Royce Magic Touch.
Okay. Wow, proper classic. So, okay, so you was into that kind of soul music from them days then? Was that your passion?
Yeah,
In fact, it was either soul or reggae, wasn't it, at the time anyway, wasn't it, for us?
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, I actually started out, before I sort of was able to mix, I started out on a microphone. I was always quite good with words, so I could quickly sort of rhyme off the top of my head. And we had a little sound system, so I was very much into my reggae and inspired by Saxon.
Hold on, but you don't get away without telling us the name of your sound system. I don't think you get away with that.
Squadron 4.
Squadron 4. And who was in that sound, Spoony?
It was myself, my younger brother Stephen, one of my best friends Wayne, and my cousin Jason. That was the four of us, Squadron 4. Yeah.
And how far did you progress as a sound?
Well, you've never heard of us, so not really that far.
So who did you? So who was the people that inspired you at that time to be in a sound system? Because you mentioned a few there, Saxon.
Yeah, I mean, it was Saxon from South, and I used to love Daddy Rusty because he could roll his tongue. No, Colonel, Daddy Colonel used to.
Colonel, how do you roll your tongue? Yeah.
How do you roll your tongue, Daddy Colonel? But I loved Rusty as well. He was really fresh. So that was that sound system, and obviously on our side, we had Unity. There were the soul sound systems, Funky Express. They were like the big main ones, and at the time I was too young to go out, but I had the tapes to listen to. So I would practice, and I actually got to a point where I could roll my tongue like Colonel as well.
Colonel.
So, you was at school, you went to college, and is that where your first meeting with Mystery happened?
Yeah, so we the thing was we were in the sixth form, and once when we done our O levels as it was then, we decided that between the three schools, Highbury Grove, Highbury Fields, which was a girls' school, and Barnsbury, that we'd organise a party for those in the sixth form or going into the sixth form, and we booked Mystery. So I was about 15, 16 at the time. We did a boat party leaving from the Thames, 300 people across the three schools. So that was my first foray as a promoter. Quickly decided you're better off being a DJ because.
So why did you?
Hold on. Before you say, let me give you a famous Ray Banton line. So, how much money did you make?
well. So this is the thing. I quickly realised at that point, you know what? I'm better off being a DJ because I'm sure Mystery had more money than we did.
You know, it's funny when you talked about that the other day. I had a conversation with him, and I said, "Do you realise that Spoony booked you from? He was in college, and he booked you for a boat dance." He went, "Spoony." I went, "Yeah." He went, "I can't remember that." He said, "No." He didn't even realise. He didn't even realise that.
No, and this is what I'm saying, Ray. That we always be, if we're doing a stream and you've got 5 people watching, listening, that. One of those 5 people could be being inspired to go and do something great. And what Mystery didn't realize at that time, that there was a kid that was absolutely watching and listening to everything that he was doing, and he was just doing another party for some kids that kind of liked music. And one of those 4 people that put that party on was me. So here we are, and I will never forget it. And I'm not surprised that he doesn't remember me, because he would have done 1,000 gigs before then, and most probably 5,000 gigs since. But I was being inspired at that stage, and that's why we wanted to book him.
Did you go to any Mystery events in your younger days growing up?
No, I was too young. And this was the thing. A lot of the music that I listened to, really, I was maybe too young to go out and party to. And I also played a lot of football at that stage. So for me, my mornings were always going to be getting ready for football. Or recovering from a game from the day before. However, the soundtrack to my recovery would have been either a sound tape from Saxon, Unity, Mystery, Funky Express, Beat Freak, TNT. That's what I listen to all the time.
So from the college, when did Maxims was during college time or just after college time?
Yeah, so I never actually went to. It was like sixth form. So we had a really good. I mean, Highbury Grove School at the time was a really good school. So I stayed on and done my A levels. My A
Did you say
levels in
Highbury?
the sixth form. Highbury Grove, yeah.
And you now support Arsenal. I think somebody
Yeah,
mentioned
of
that.
course. Yeah. Don't worry. Get them on. Get them on. We'll keep talking about that if you want. Just tell me when to stop. Just tell me when to stop. So what was I saying? So the A levels.
Yeah, Maxims. So you need up to Maxims, yeah.
Yeah. So my friend Steve had taught me how to mix at that stage, and there's a club on Kingsland Road, Stokely on High Street actually, called Maxims. We used to go there as an under 18s event, and it was run by Chris Nat and JJ. JJ used to be on LWR at the time, which was one of the big pirates, and Jigs was on there, and DJ Lane. And again, I was being inspired by these guys who most probably had no idea who. Well, they would have had no idea who I was. Of course, they wouldn't. So I used to go to this club, and JJ, ironically, my DJ name would have been JJ, but he was already in the market as JJ, and he was an established DJ. So I ended up with the shape of my head, which was Spoony. Anyway, we digressed. Went to this night. It was an under 18s night at Maxim's, and JJ and Chris announced that they were going to have a DJ competition, and whoever won would become resident at the night. And I was there just chilling, and my pals were like, "No, you should do it. You should do it. You should do it." Because by that time, I'd kind of been practicing my mixing and my scratching, and it was just I was football, homework, music, sleep, wake up, repeat. And I was like, "Oh, I'm here. I haven't got no music." So I said, "Yeah, you got your bike outside." So I literally left, went upstairs, unlocked my bike, cycled home, put a sort of like, a sliver of records in my paper handbag, went back, jumped on the decks, and then won the competition. Then I started being resident DJ at Maxim's with Chris and JJ. And then, Chris and that started taking me around, and I did a few gigs over Southend, which at the time, I never left North London unless I was going to play football. So to actually get on the bus and go to South London, I'm sure Chris Nat owes me £15 from that gig as well. But anyway, but yeah, that, it was a fantastic opportunity for me at the time to really say that I was DJing, and yeah, brilliant.
So let me try and get these timelines right. So then, as Maxims proceeded, I suppose, and you're getting bigger, what was your next step? Because it wasn't. Was it straight into your union with the Dream Team?
No. I mean, there was another journey through there. So I then started up I had another sound system, more of a soul sound system called Salt and Pepper. It took us ages to come up with that name. And that was with my friend Wayne and Steve. At the time, I went to school with Jay Blades from the BBC, who is like one of my best and longest friends. So he was around, and we used to put on events back then as well. So I hooked up with these guys, and obviously, like I said, we were just good friends. We spent most of our time together. We'd meet up, empty our pockets out, see what money we had, go to the record tape exchange in Camden to go and look for our rare vinyl, and just hang out. And then I think, I did that up until about the age of maybe 20, 21. And then it got to the point now where I'm working full time. I'm spending a lot of money on records, but I'm not earning any money from DJing. Then you start thinking about what way you're going to go. I got a show on a pirate radio station, still wasn't earning any money. And then I got to the stage where I was about 25 now, and I made the decision that unless I secured a DJ gig that would at least pay for my records on a monthly basis, I would have to stop buying. I'd have to stop buying vinyl, because I think I was earning £400 a month, and I might have been spending £50 a week on records.
We did.
You got to pay for your car, and you travel to work, and your lunch.
What genres of music was you buying with your £50? What was you concentrating on?
At that stage, I was buying a lot of house music, more house and dance music that I'd got into, soulful and vocal house at that stage. But I always kept my eye on, my first loves, which would have really been soul and rare groove, that what we might call club classics now, Rolls Royce, Mantronics, that kind of vibe. But I still liked my reggae as well because, Caribbean background, Hackney, it kind of goes hand in hand. And then at the end of that month, it was almost as though, the music gods were looking down on me. I got a residency at a little club in Islington where I earned £100 on a Friday and £100 on a Saturday. I played for 3 hours both nights. And I was like, right, this is it. I could keep buying my records. Mm-hmm. I'm never going to buy a house off of it, but it's fine. And it was almost as though once that happened, then everything else started to take shape. I joined London Underground as a pirate. I met Timmy, and Mikey, and the rest, as they say, is history, really.
Was you aware at that stage when you met Mikey how big his sound, Funky Express, and how much Funky Express actually means to street sound culture itself?
The thing was at that stage, and it's something that I always say, and Mikey's one of the most sort of humble, downplaying people you'd ever meet. That there aren't too many people, and I actually think in many ways he's peerless, that he has been at the top of 3 different genres across 3 different periods, maybe not generations, but 3 different periods that no one has ever done. And people have done it in one genre. But to think that he had one of the top sound systems in London, in the country, in Funky Express. He then, with Top Buzz, had one of the biggest hardcore collectives, undisputed, and depending on who you might rate it, he's going to be in the top 2 or 3. And then he joined the Dream Team. So this is a man who knows his music. He knows his onions inside out. So to be working alongside him was a phenomenal honor for myself. Do you know what I mean? And even though, I got a lot of the kind of the shine, don't think that I was ever not grateful or not aware of the brilliance and the magnificence that I was working around with regards to Timmy and Mikey.
Wow. Mikey's legend, definitely.
Legend. I mean, when we talk about Funky Express, I don't think there's no rare groove. There's no any person who knows who we call a rare groove aficionado who even went to a dance. Everybody without fail mentions Funky Express has that top, when they refer to music, Funky Express is definitely one of the go-to ones straight away that they're going to talk about. And
it's so funny actually, because we had Ricky D on our live the other day, and I was listening to some of his that's Ricky D from Special Edition, and I was listening to some of his early recordings from about 1988, 89, something like that, with Mikey selecting and tearing up the dances. So got to big up Mikey.
The thing with Mikey is that, like I said, it's where he's, he'll always be blessed because he's always so humble. But if he wasn't as humble, people would make much more of a fuss about him because, like I said, not too many people have got a CV like him. I've got a great CV, but in a completely different way. In his way, as a straight DJ across time zones, Mikey B, man, is a Don Dada. He really is. And that's when he ain't got the headphones off, he's a Don Dada as well.
Definitely Don Dada. So when you joined them, I mean, that's kind of when this garage phenomenon it was at the start of it, and you was one of the people who kind of was the wave itself of garage music.
Yeah, I mean, look, we go on, Ray. Sorry.
When you started that, did you know how big this? Did you have a feeling that garage was going to lead you on to greatness and how it was, or was you just saying, okay, it's another genre of music, let's just get on with it?
The truth is, and I could most probably speak to, everybody who bought a piece of vinyl or had decks or a pair of headphones that DJ'd in their bedrooms or at their local youth club. It was never a thing that I ever thought I would do as a profession. It's not actually why I started DJing. It was to become a full-time DJ. I just loved making people dance, and I loved the art of DJing. I loved creating that third record in between deck 1 and deck 2. It was something that I just really enjoyed doing. But I guess we were able to ride the crest of a wave. We're right in the middle of a perfect storm in that the genre of music was growing. It was a good time to sort of be alive. We had a really nice atmosphere between Timmy, Mikey, and myself. Whether we were on air or in the clubs, like the way that we DJ'd really complemented each other. We were never in competition with each other, but we inspired each other to play good music and to mix well. So I think we had, like I said, we had a nice atmosphere around us. We had excellent MCs that worked with us, whether it be PSG, whether it be Rankin or Wizard. So we just had that kind of, there was just that little vibe going on with anything Dream Team. And like I said, we just kind of rose and rose and rose and rose. And at the same time that we were rising, the music was rising. And, next thing, we were on London Underground. We left London Underground. We joined KISS. We had one show on KISS, then we had 2 shows on KISS, then we had 3 shows on KISS. Then we left KISS and went to Galaxy. And then within 6 months, we joined Radio 1. And, that was brilliant for us as the Dream Team, but it was an absolute shot in the arm for the genre of music.
So, and what was that like making that transition to a national station and dealing with the reaction of going from London Underground stroke KISS FM, where you get, a couple of people from the M25 to people now, and you've been having the opportunity to play the music that you love to people across the entire country. What was the reaction like for you?
So the thing with that, what's really interesting is that we got to a point when we were on KISS that we needed national broadcast for the genre, because we were already DJing in Manchester and Leeds and Bournemouth and Southampton and Ipswich and Cardiff and Newcastle and Swansea. These were all Birmingham, but I mean the Midlands, Wolverhampton, Birmingham were massive for garage, but people could only hear us on the radio in London. So we went to the bosses at KISS and said, look, we know that you're syndicating radio shows at the moment, because there's a couple of DJs that had syndicated shows. And we said, look, the genre is now demanding that the music is syndicated and goes around the country. So, they wouldn't let us do it. And then Galaxy came in and said, look, we can give you all of the major cities around the UK. So we were able to make that transition from KISS to Radio 1 via Galaxy, which was perfect. But we had already been playing in the clubs to all of these people as well. And like I said, we used to love going to Birmingham, because, people in London can sometimes be a little bit snobbish, but I knew that when we went to Birmingham, they got it straight away. Like, we could play the real proper 2-step, the real Steve Gurley's when we went up there, the deep MJ Cole. We didn't have to play the commercial hits. TJ Casey's. We could go as hard as underground as we wanted. We used to absolutely. And some people, they couldn't. No, Birmingham could be a little bit like that. Listen, we're sound system guys. Yeah. So for me, I was used to that, that hotbed and being able to control that energy. And we thrived off it. I loved it. I know Mikey did as well.
At the same time, Niche was big in around about that time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
With Jamie Duggan and all them guys in Birmingham.
Yeah. Well, that came a little bit later. That sort of niche, it went that a little bit more baseline. But at that time, we were, like I said, it was very vocal, very soulful. Chris Max, Steve Gurley, Master Steps, Richie Dan. The real essence of UK garage at that time. It was pure and it was electric, and that was our sound. We loved playing vocals.
So hold on a sec. So let me take you back a bit. So let me take you back to the warehouses, 1995, 96. Mm-hmm. Do you remember Tyson Street?
Yeah, of course. That was in Stoughton. Is in Dalston. It was behind my record shop in Dalston, Mr. Music. So that's where I was affiliated to. So yeah, I remember it.
So do you remember the first dance you played with what we call street sounds or the Rare Groove circuit? Do you remember that first dance?
Wow. What are you going to do to me now?
We've actually,
I'm being set up here.
We've actually got that promoter, and he's here. I don't know if he's on camera yet. He's supposed to be on camera by now, but I don't know if he's on camera. And I'd like to bring him out still because he was the first one that put us guys together.
No way.
If you can take off your mute, Smokey. If you take off your mute, because you're on mute, mate.
Oh, admin, yeah.
There we go.
Welcome, Smokey.
Is that the great Spoony?
You know how long I've been looking for that one you owe me? You know how long?
Okay, Spoony, what's happening, brother?
Smokey, you know. Oh, man.
Oh, brother, how you been?
I'm good. Turn on the light, man, so we can see you properly. Why are you sitting in the shade?
Hold on. I'm looking in the dark, am I? Could you see me now?
There you go. That's better. That's better. So, so here's the thing, right? This is the thing. So I'm gonna say it now. I love that Smokey's come on this place here now. So Smokey was one of those typical promoter characters, right? That you do your set, then you got to chase him around to get paid. Every DJ knows what this is like, right? And Timmy and Mikey would be like, oh, no, not Smokey. But you know, the thing is, there was something that I loved about his rogueness. He got on my nerves, but I loved him same way. So even though I'd cuss him, I would always do his dance. So Smokey, it's an absolute pleasure to see you, man.
Nice one, brother. You see what I'm saying, Ray? I am a good promoter, ain't I?
I didn't say that. That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
At the end of the day, Ray, they get paid. That's the greatest thing.
At the end of the day, they get paid.
Literally at the end. Literally at the end of the day.
Hey, Ray, they get paid.
Smokey.
Yeah.
Did you tell us about that dance that you put together and tell us some of the sounds that you had on the Rare Groove, Street Sounds, and some of the garage dons that you had as well?
Well, I had yourself. I had Fifth Avenue, Desi G, Barry White, New Attraction, Nasty Boys, Studio Express, Special Touch. You know, all the big sounds, all the street sounds that we classed as big sounds. You know, and it kind of worked out. On the garage side of things, we had like the Dream Team, Norris the Boss. We had Creed there, DJ Cameo from my radio station, Taste FM.
Wow, Cameo.
You know, yeah, DJ Cameo. He ended up getting onto BBC One Extra later on. You know.
Yeah.
Smokey, what made you put the two styles of music together in one hall? That's because that wasn't really done back in those days like that.
No, what it was basically looking in, because you have to be outside looking in, and when I'm looking in, I'm seeing that when I'm in a garage rave, I'm seeing some of the R&B people them in there, because I go R&B as well, and I go garage. And when I'm going to the garage, I'm seeing friends of like R&B. I think, what are you doing in there? So I'm realizing there's a mixture going on anyway. It just hasn't been pushed out enough for everyone to love it like that, but they was loving it. So I just said, you know what? I'm from South London, innit? Everyone knows I'm from South.
And that's a promoter. That's a promoter.
Yeah.
Did you know?
I'm a South London promoter, and my mate was Jazzy D, Fast Eddie. You understand me? So the two of us had a connection. The two of us had a connection, and we thought, you know what? I said to Jazzy, if there's somewhere big enough to do it, I would do it. If it ain't big enough, I'm not going to do it. And then when I saw Tyson Street and see how big it was, two-sided, I said, perfect.
How much people get there?
Yeah, I'm going to get involved.
How much people get there?
We had about 2,600.
You know what? It's funny you say that. You know, as a promoter, we understand those numbers. So, how many wheelbarrows did you need at the end of the night?
Well, to be honest with you,
and you had the bar, if I remember rightly. You
I'm just about to say that. Did the bar run out of brandy?
We had both bars actually. Both bars. It was a very good night actually. That's all I can really say about that.
Do you remember Spooney's set from that night, like the Dream Team set from that night?
What's that? Say that again.
Did you get to catch Spooney's set and the Dream Team's DJ set that night?
I think I was a bit busy counting cash somewhere. You know, there's a lot of money on the venue. I had to be very, very busy. I had to be running around, making sure I scrape up all the monies. I'd give him an hour every time, go around again, scrape up again. Because that's the type of venue that it is. You got to keep scraping.
Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy the gig?
Yeah, you got a lot to play out, and there was a lot of pre-start money started it. So
wicked.
You have to get all that money in first, and then after that, you just know, you know.
Spooney, did you enjoy that gig then? Did you have a good one?
You know the thing is, like when I'm on the deck, so I feel really privileged, and I've always felt privileged to be able to sort of live as a DJ, to be a full-time professional DJ. But when I put that last record on, then you just get that little bit of disappointment and sadness that I've now got to try and find Smokey and try and get my wages, and then it would make the set not so much fun. You know what I mean? It was, but for most of my set, I was cool. It was just the last bit was like, here we go. Now I've got to go and chase my man around. But them times there, this is the thing. What used to happen is that those times we would play on a Saturday night or Friday night. We would do 3 or 4 gigs in London, so we didn't have the luxury of being able to chase a promoter around. So whoever was playing last out of Timmy and Mikey would often have to just collect for everybody, because you'd then be late for your next set, and when you just have a domino effect. But like I said, Smokey was one of those that he was a lovable rogue. And if I'm not being a snob, but once I got to a position where I was keeping my stuff professional, I would cut out a lot of promoters, because I'm like, look, we're trying to move on. We're trying to do good things. We're trying to progress ourselves. And you lot are trying to keep it so 10 years ago. I don't want to do that now. So I cut out a lot of those kind of promoters. But I always had a soft spot for Smokey, because he always made me laugh, even though he just made me run around for my money.
As Smokey says, at the end of the day, Smokey pays.
Everybody gets money. That's the greatest.
Smokey,
at the end of the day.
All right. Thank you
for commending me, mate. Lovely. Thank you. Great. Lovely, guys.
Nice one, Smokey. Nice one.
Big up.
Spooney, you mentioned some radio stations. Radio 1,
Yeah.
When you got the call for, wanting the Dream Team to come to Radio 1, how did you feel? What was it like?
So I'm going to go back. I'll go back about 5 years, and it was almost 5 years, 4.5 years actually. So I was still working for the civil service. I was working in the job centre, and decided that I was going to hand in my resignation. And I was doing quite well in the job, really enjoyed it. But when I had to go and tell my manager that I was resigning, he said, why? What are you going to go and do? And I said, really, I'd love to try and give it a crack at being a full-time DJ. He's like, really? What? How far can you go in that? And I turned around and said, you could end up, DJing in local clubs every weekend, and if it goes really well, I could end up on Radio 1. And he went, what? Like Dave Lee Travis? I went, yeah, like Dave Lee Travis, right? And at that time, I tell you, I might as well have said I'm gonna go and live in St Kitts or Antigua. That would have been more realistic than ending up on Radio 1. But like I said before, it just ended up being a perfect storm of music, what we were doing, and the transition from Pirate to Kiss to Galaxy. And we were on Galaxy. We obviously were competent broadcasters between us. It was quite a funny show, just punctuated with the music, which was quite different to what most of the other people who were playing garage were doing. So we then we got the phone call that, look, radio, that we're interested. We want to do a pilot. We want to do a pilot with you guys. So we went and recorded a pilot with a production company. They edited and sent it to Radio 1. And at the time, we used to have an office in Tottenham. And they called and said, look, we'd love you to come on board. And at the time, it was brilliant, because all three of us and Sarah, who was our PA, were in our office at the time. And I was like, yeah, okay, no problem. Put down the phone. And then I just said to the guys, we're joining Radio 1. And we just had a lot of scream and a hug and a jump up and down. It was I remember it really, really clearly. And it wasn't just for us. I think at the time it was a real shot in the arm for the genre, and everybody that was associated with it, all the MCs, all the producers, the promoters. It was a real team effort, but we were the ones at the time that got to stand on the podium.
I remember it was a big thing. Huge. And when you on the front of was it Touch magazine? I remember that iconic front cover.
Touch, Blues and Soul. And I mean, again, at that time, I mean, for, you know, Trevor Nelson was already on the station. Fabian and Groove Rider were already on the station, and R&B, of course, you have the American superstars, which would have fueled what Trevor was doing, and drum and bass was an international phenomenon. But by comparison, UK Garage was really fledgling. It was really young, and for us to have a daytime show, because our show on Radio 1 was 10 till 1 p.m. on a Sunday. It was a breakfast show on a Sunday. They entrusted that with us, so yeah, it was fantastic. And it was only us 5 as black DJs on the station at the time, you know.
Yeah. Atish says in the comments, still got your first show on Radio 1 on a tape, Spoony. So
no way.
Atish, you got to send it, mate. Send it through.
Atish, I need that, man.
You did mention, you know, for the culture, it was a good thing. For the scene, it was good. You know, what music did you bring to the table when you went on to Radio 1? What records started to just go berserk?
I mean, so what was interesting about that slot, and it is most probably the first and maybe last time that a mainstream show, we had 9 choices that we could play as free choices, and the playlist was tailor-made to suit us. So, you know, there was stuff already on the playlist, maybe artists like Missy Elliott or Eminem, Mary J. Blige, those big R&B records. And then you had records like what came out, I think like Battle might have come out at that time, and Sweet Female Attitude, Flowers. And then we still got to choose our own tracks as well to play on there. And we were playing, you know, things like, you know, we played So Solid Crew first on Radio 1. We played K2 Family first on Radio 1, TJ Cases first on Radio 1. A lot of the records that came out on Public Demand, Craig David, we gave all of these acts Miss Dynamite. I mean, we argued with Radio 1 to get Miss Dynamite Boo on the playlist, back and forth. The rest, as they say, is history. And don't get me wrong, she's an unbelievable artist, and it was an unbelievable song. But we were right at the beginning of all of those records. The chances are any big UK garage record that came out in the 1999 up until 2003, 2004, we would have played early on that show, and most probably on dub, most probably on acetate as well.
Chat bar. I'm quite conscious of time, and there's some things that I want to get to before we talk about your role during the pandemic. 2 iconic moments that stand out, and probably somewhere in your top 5. Playing at David Beckham's wedding, and also playing You'll Never Walk Alone at Old Trafford.
Right. So slight correction. I did. It was David. It wasn't his wedding. I did his 30th and 31st birthday party. Okay. But they were both in Madrid, which was, it was really funny how that came about, because I was playing golf, and I was with Winnie, like my right hand man Winnie, and I had a phone call, and you shouldn't have your phone on the golf course anyway. Yeah. So the phone rang, and I answered it, and he was like, "Hello, is that Spoony?" And I was like, "Yeah." And the girl went, "Oh, it's Victoria," and I was like, I don't know who this is. She said it's Victoria, Victoria Beckham, and I was like, wow, what's happening, Vic? You all right? Because I've met her before, and she said, look, you know, David's birthday's coming up, and you know, we'd love you to come and play for his 30th birthday party. And I was like, wow, man. At that time, he was playing for Madrid. So I was like, wow, this is a big thing. And then I agreed to do it, and then I realised that the night of the party, it was a midweek. I think it was a Tuesday night, might have been a Wednesday night, but I had a game that I was covering Scott Mills on drive time. And in order to get the flight, I would have had to have pre-recorded the last hour of the show. So I went in and spoke to Ben, who was the controller at the time, and said, look, I've got this opportunity to do an amazing event, but it would mean me having to finish an hour early because I've got to go and fly. So he said to me, at this stage I hadn't said who, and he said, well, you know, depending on who it is, we could look to do it. So he said, can you tell me who it is? And I said, well, I can tell you, but you have to promise me you don't tell anyone until after. So he said, okay, who is it? Well, and I said, it's David Beckham. And he said, well, of course you can go. It's David Beckham. so they let me pre-record the last hour of the show, and went to Heathrow and all the rest. And then I went back and did it in the next year. And at the time, like I said, he was at Real Madrid. So you're there DJing, and then Roberto Carlos comes into the DJ booth. Zinedine Zidane is there hanging out. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I mean, they really looked after me. I mean, it's not something that I talk about too much publicly, but David and Victoria really looked after me. Really, really, really good people.
And
then
Old Trafford.
I mean, look, I was doing a rugby 7 event, and I'd done one before at Newcastle. I'd done one at the Etihad when it was the City of Manchester Stadium, and then they took over. But I knew the next one was going to be at Old Trafford, and whilst I was getting my music ready, a little bit of devil come into me and just said, you know what if you just played You'll Never Walk Alone? And I put it in the playlist, and I thought, no, you're not going to do it. And then on the day, I don't know what, when a bit of wickedness just touches you, just, sometimes when you might see someone fall and you shouldn't laugh, but you can't help it. And I said, I'm gonna play this. And I'm never going to get another chance to play You'll Never Walk Alone
But that made national news, though, didn't it?
Yeah.
It
You're lucky because it was
viral,
kind of like cancel culture, wasn't it? Now, if you did that now on Twitter and Instagram, that's it. You'd be finished.
No, you know the thing with that, Reg. I was getting some love from all over the world. Brazil, Australia, all the Liverpool fans, but obviously the Manchester United fans were giving me pelters. And on Twitter, I just said to one guy, let me just honestly ask you this, right? If you had the opportunity to play Glory, Glory, Man United at Anfield, would you do it, yes or no? And he went, I would. And I said, and that's just it with football. It's just who can put their flag in the ground first. You know what I mean? And that kind of just diffused it, and we moved on. It wasn't meant malicious. I love my football. As a football lover, you have to respect Manchester United for what they've done, what they've achieved, especially under Sir Alex Ferguson. But that will never stop us, especially being rivals.
You are passionate about football. You are passionate about golf. We are pushed for time, but we've got a few questions that we must ask you.
All right.
First of all, on the football thing, as a Liverpool fan, who's been your favourite Liverpool manager?
Wow, my favourite Liverpool manager. I mean, so Bob Paisley I'd have to mention Bob Paisley, who
definitely,
he was in the boot room with Bill Shankly. He won so many honours for us. He was a major part of the reason why Liverpool was so revered now and why we were so great. Kenny Dalglish was the individual why I started supporting Liverpool and has treated me and really looked after me as a person. That I got to know him personally. Brendan Rodgers, to me, again, was I really love Brendan. I think he's an unbelievably talented coach, and I think his timing was just a little bit unlucky with him being released from Liverpool, which leads me into Jurgen Klopp, who, what can we say about the Jurgmeister? Do you know what I mean? He's a throwback in many ways.
Are you saying all of them are your favourite? I wanted one.
Yeah, you want one? I can't. It's like asking me to choose between my children. It's impossible. I love them all.
Are you a competitive type of guy?
Yes.
You like to win?
Yes.
Okay. But before we go there,
one sec.
Before we go there, I just need to get these questions in before we go to that part of it. I really do. Because
big up Sinclair is coming up soon later.
Yeah, so he's there.
Apologies to Sinclair.
Right.
But
so before we even think about going there, I need to ask you a couple more questions. The pandemic stripes. You're housebound like the rest of us. You took Spooney's house online. Did you also was collecting money for the NHS at that time as well? Did you actually think that it would get so popular as it did? Because it went for one evening on a Friday, I believe. Then it went to Saturday, and now you do the Saturday. It's become iconic.
Yeah. Yeah, well, at one stage I was doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a Tuesday. At the moment, I've only been doing one show a week, and I've just moved home and subsequently moved studio. So I've had a couple of weeks off getting all of that set up. But I'm hoping, fingers crossed, and this is an exclusive for Set the Trend, that I'm going to be back on Sunday the 10th. It's not been broadcast yet, but that's the day that I'm working to in my mind. You know what? If I'm honest, I mean, I've had some messages that have been really, really humbling, at times even overwhelming, about what the show has meant to them during lockdown. But I realised that it was almost therapy for me as well. It gave me something to look forward to, something to focus on, and really, and being that someone who tries to have at least to have a positive mindset, to think of the future and for better times, that when we do come out of the pandemic, what position will I be in as a DJ? Will I think, oh God, I've just wasted the last year, or have I tried to put myself in a better position, or at least maintain where I was pre-pandemic? And you know, in many ways, the brand, and I don't want to speak of myself in the third person, but in many ways, there has been a lot of growth, and I've established myself in another market, and maybe shown people that, wow, he didn't just start DJing when Flowers came out.
Yeah. I'm about to say that. We see the passion on a Sunday for music. I didn't, to be honest with you, I mean, I've only, it's not to say I've known you for life, it's not saying that we've been talking a long time. I only know Spooney, the DJ, the garage don, and seeing you on a Sunday, I'm like, really?
You're playing music with like a passion, big smile on your face.
Yeah,
which is, you know, and it's funny because we're all DJs, Reggie, myself, and Ray, and you know, I spend Sundays, you know, watching you do your Sunday Spooney's house, and the way you just go from one genre to the next one, and it's beautiful. It's amazing. It's and she said it puts a smile on people's face, and I just want to say, for me, you know, well done for Spooney's house. It's fantastic.
Man.
Sunday one for me.
No fast food music, strictly fine dining selections on a Sunday.
You know the thing, right? DJ Ron, who, you know, kind of came to light as a massive jungle and drum and bass DJ. We grew up on the same estate, and you know, Ron was one of those DJs that inspired me to want to DJ. Unbelievably technically gifted DJ. I spoke to him the other day, and he said, you know, I watched those streams and I could see in your eyes like the passion, he said it was, you know, there was envy, not in a bad way, in a positive way, that this is why we start DJing, so we can play those records that we genuinely love. And he said, no, I've known you a long time, I could see it. And I took that as a massive compliment, and really something for all DJs that try and find that sweet spot. And we're lucky because, you know, we're not being dictated. When I'm doing those streams, I'm not being dictated to by a radio controller. I'm not being dictated to by a promoter. I'm not under any pressure to play anything that I don't want to play. Do you know what I mean? I genuinely can just go, I love this record, or I remember my mum playing this record, or I know how much this tune means to my aunt. Whatever it was, I could just play it. And, you know, luckily for me, it's been well received, and you know, it's been a perfect relationship between me and the audience, really.
I'm always sending messages on the Sunday saying, can you take it to radio too?
Yeah. Some of them, yeah, but you do play a couple of them tunes on the radio too. When you come up for
Trevor. Yeah, I do. When I cover for Trevor, I try and play them, and you know, it's something that I'm working on, because I do believe that there's a home for that music, and not just on a DAB. I think it deserves to be on an FM, because there's enough people that I think would listen to it. And
100%.
it's always getting that balance right between entertainment and education, and playing people music that you think they would like, and they trust you to give them that. And what's nice about what's happened over the last year of doing the Sunday brunch, especially, is that people have gone, wow, he has a real passion and knowledge for this music, and let me see what he's going to give me next week and the week after. So where I might play a Tina Marie record that 1 week, but then I'm going to play an album cut that you might not know the following week. And once you're in, you're in.
So Spooney, you play to a very diverse audience. It's one thing, I think, for a lot of DJs to talk about what matters to them, what they're passionate about, what their culture means to them. It's another thing for them to feel confident in expressing that. You came out with 50 Years in Black Excellence in June. I'm interested to know, was that for Spooney or was that for Jonathan?
I always say that Spooney might be big, but he can never be bigger than Jonathan. And that's just an alter ego. I'm at the heart of everything that Spooney does or thinks. He's just a nice vehicle. It sounds weird saying it like this, but just a vehicle for me to do stuff. But the 50 years of Black British Excellence was just an opportunity for me to really, doff my cap to people that inspired me coming through. And it wasn't just people who were, senior to me. It wasn't people that inspired me just like Doreen Lawrence or Robbie G or Ian Wright. There were people that I've met post that. I'm talking Reggie Yates, I'm talking Kano, Akala. Of course, Mikey was on the show, people that I work closely with in Norris the Boss Windross and Master Steps, and then, Idris Elba. And, we still had, Jam Supernova on there as well, Coaching Radical. It's just people that have all been flying the flag for Black British excellence that I don't think always get enough credit, and just brought it together, by us, for us. And it was a phenomenal stream. I had it in my head and I put it on paper, but I didn't think it would come out and be as slick and as well received as it was. And, I did it for my birthday. I just saw Karen Blackett's name run through there as well. So Karen is one of the first names that's on Black British Excellence at number 2. And I did 50 years because I turned 50 last year. So I don't know whether I'm going to call it 50 again or 51, but I still might just call it 50. But yeah, I'm going to do it again, and hopefully, Ray, you're going to come and join us this year.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Judy came as well. Judy Love was on it as well last year.
Yes. So when you're 60, I'll probably be on there, mate. I just need to get my fan rate
out. The government Spooney, the government came out with their race relations document this week. On the back of that, they're saying more or less that structural racism does not live in Britain anymore. Would that something that you'd agree with over the time, or do you think we've still got a little way to go before we get?
Listen, there's no way. It's nowhere near as bad as it was, but we're nowhere near where we need to be. We're still somewhere in the middle, and if people don't think that racism still exists, you've only got to see what Alex Beresford went through when Piers Morgan got off GMTV, and you like I said, 2 comments in, and of course it's there. We know it's still there. Maybe we have more sort of icons. We have more trailblazers that are opening doors and opening people's minds, but that doesn't mean for any stretch of the imagination that it's not still hard and it's not still out there. They could have all of the quangos, all of the committees that they want, but there's still a lot to be done, even though a lot has been done.
Cool.
This Thursday.
So before you go, we've got something for you, because we got Sinclair, another of our UK soul stars, waiting in the background to finish the show. But before we do it, we've got a quiz for you, Spooney. So I'm going to hand you over to Reggie Styles, and Reggie Styles will tell you why we've got this quiz, and then we'll take you into it. So
we started this all off with the Chaser. We had Sean Wallace on, and we had him on, and he was atrocious at the chase. So it's a very low bar to hit right now, Spooney. But we know that you appeared on Celebrity Mastermind. Do you remember that appearance?
Which
Yeah.
one?
Do you want me to go and get my winning trophy?
Yeah, please.
No,
You got
only get it out if you can win this one.
Yeah.
No.
And he's also appeared on Strictly Come Dancing, but we ain't gonna have time to talk about that, unfortunately. But
well done! Congratulations, sir. So, so the subject that you your specialist subject was
The life of Ray Charles.
excellent stuff. So we thought we'll bring our own as we're a music podcast, we thought we'll deliver our own game, and it's called Know Your Right. So this game has been produced specially just for you, Mrs. Spoony. Okay, so question number 1, please, producer. Right. What is the name of the song that Ray Charles performs in the 1980 movie The Blues Brothers? Shake a Tail Feather, Hit the Road Jack, or I Got a Woman? Right, I'm gonna have to rush you.
I'm gonna go for Shake a Tail Feather.
Producers. No,
I knew it.
Pass. Okay, so right, next question. In respect to racial dynamics, who did Ray Charles consider as his role model?
He was an ex-fan, Malcolm.
Martin Luther King. Right. Another question. In what year did Ray Charles win his first set of 4 Grammy Awards?
1957, 1961, or 1960?
Or 1962, sorry.
I'm going to go for 61.
Well, that
is
That was correct.
Yeah, that was correct.
1961 was correct.
Yeah?
Yes,
Well,
1961 was right.
All right.
Listen, and you've won from 2010 from your Spooney Classic. Remember this?
Yeah, you still got that ready.
I remember. Yeah, I still got it, mate. I still got it. For those who don't know, that's a golf set. It's basically what you use to pitch the green and also mark your ball.
And it was was that your charity?
If I ever get famous, yeah, it's a charity golf day that I was going to do. I was saying, Reggie, if I ever become famous, that might be worth some money. So,
now you are a big golf fan. This Thursday is the Masters. Who's your money on?
Wow. I think so. The Masters really it's who's got a good short game, who hits their irons well. I think Tommy Fleetwood is an English guy, brilliant golfer. He'll have a good chance. Dustin Johnson, because he just hits it so long. I'm not sure if this is a Bryson situation. It's very easy to run up big numbers at Augusta. I mean, I'd love my friend Ian Poulter to win.
So Spooney, if you won the Masters, what would be on your Master Club dinner invitation?
All right.
And obviously, for those who don't know, if you win the Masters the following year, you get to
Right. So as a starter, I'd have ackee and saltfish with 1 fried dumpling. Right, because if you had 2 fried dumplings, you go to sleep. And then I think I would have for the main, I would have brown stewed fish, brim, and rice and peas with a bit of coleslaw.
I can see Bryson eating that one and going
nice after that.
Ricky Fowler,
couple of them man, they won't know about eating fish off the bone. So that'd be quite funny in itself.
Did you at one point? Was it? No, it was the Ryder Cup. You were rolling around with Nick Faldo as his confidant, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was inside the ropes. That was good fun actually. That put a few noses out of joint, but yeah, that was good fun. Yeah, I know. Know Nick quite well. And I carried Free and Polar on the par 3 competition at the Masters as well. So that was good. Yeah, I love my golf, Rich. You know, I love my golf. Can't wait to get back out.
What's your handicap?
Is on the simulator, sadly.
What's your handicap?
My handicap's just been adjusted now, so I'm 7.
Whoa.
Oh, you've gone up. Did you used to play on 5?
Maybe. I mean, no, the lowest I've been is 6. So yeah, lowest I've been is 6.
So Reggie,
yeah,
you got some catching up to do.
I've got a lot of catching up to do. 16.
What you got, Fred?
No, Reggie, you're 28. He was 28, mate. He was 28.
My official club handicap is 16.
Oh, but you said 28.
Still 16.
Yeah.
You were 16 10 years ago.
It's true. You're not lying either.
Before we say goodbye to you, Spoony,
yes,
we've got Sinclair waiting in the background. Did you used to play Sinclair, but by the way, I Want You Back? Do you remember that tune?
Of course.
That business. Cool.
Of course. So, I'm going to say, Sinclair, if you're watching, I bumped into, just whilst we're talking about that, I bumped into Deluxe, who produced a lot of Rick Clark's music, because he lived on my same estate. So yeah, when you start talking about those guys, I mean that area that we lived, Teo was there, who's Deluxe. He lived on my estate. MCGQ lived on my estate. DJ Ron lived on my estate, and then just behind the school, Trevor Nelson and DJ Hike and Shut Up and Dance. We all lived within 5-6 minutes of each other. Madness.
So Spoony, we've got an announcement, mate, which I haven't made yet. So us guys haven't made the announcement yet, but we're going to be seeing you shortly. Well, not shortly, in a few months' time, hopefully, if everything goes well, at our All Black Coco.
I'm already dressed.
So that's a first. So you've agreed to appear down there, and we can't wait to see what DJ Spoony can bring to All Black Coco. Thanks for agreeing that on behalf of the team. We look forward.
No, it'd be an honor, man. Be an honor.
Spoony, you've got your before we quickly just mention Garage Classical. Big thing. I've got to big you up on that one. Amazing, man. And the fact you executed it, you made it happen. That is just sick. Sick.
Yeah, that getting the show actually on stage was harder than doing the show. But yeah, we've been lucky now. I mean, we've done 3 iconic music venues: the Barbican, Hammersmith Apollo, and the Royal Albert Hall. I mean, that was unbelievable to get on stage at the Royal Albert Hall. But we're going to do Roundhouse in Camden on the 1st of October, and then hopefully we get that away, and then we can look to do Q next summer. But yeah, it's a brilliant show. I was just fun enough listening to the album the other day, and it was just wow, man. Well, I'm proud of this. I'm proud of this project.
I wish we managed to get that garage live lounge thing off the ground, but it didn't happen.
No, not quite.
Is your garage tournament happening this year?
Say again?
Is your garage tournament happening this year?
My garage tournament?
No, sorry, your golf tournament. Sorry.
Oh, my golf tournament. Sorry, I won't do it this year because it'd be too late to organise now. But I would love to bring the Spoony Classic back. Yeah, I would.
Wicked. Excellent.
Yeah, DJ Spoony, thank you for coming on Set the Trend. General.
Thank you for having me, man. Spoony, thank you to Carol as well, who was on earlier. So big up Carol, and to everybody who watches the show, just keep supporting. It's one thing us talking about not having opportunities, but when we create our own opportunities, we have to support our own as well. Do you know what I mean? And make it worthwhile for everybody. So big up you 3 for doing what you're doing, and thank you very much for having me.
Well said.
Pleasure. Respect, General. Hey, I tell you what, every week I say, you know what, my favorite, and this is just warming up, I think, you know what I mean? great talking to DJ Spoony there about his life and times. And I think we got something out of him that maybe other interviews would not have got out of him. And that's made that more special.
And it's so funny with all these guests, there's the association with the street sound scene. It's all there, like, the tentacles and the way that people all connect. And, it just goes to show that where you come from, you never forget it, man, because when you get on the big stage, there's a lot of people that don't know, especially the youngsters. For any youngsters listening.
What I wanted to say, I didn't get a chance to say, was that Liverpool won today, but you lost our competition.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes.
He did. We got him.
We got him. What's that? 2 out of 2 ratio now? 2 out of 2.
It is like we're definitely on a winning streak. So before we finish, we have an iconic R&B UK soul legend in the building for Set the Trend podcast. I've never met this gentleman. Today was the first time that I actually had a conversation with him, and he's been so inspirational. His track is so inspirational. His track is it's a Street Sounds legend track. We absolutely battered that music when it came. It kind of touched every single facet of the Street Sounds selection box, and we still play it to this day. So it's an iconic tune. Can we please welcome UK's soul singer extraordinaire Sinclair to Set the Trend podcast, please? How you doing, sir?
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Apologies for keeping you waiting.
That's all right, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Excellent.
How are you, sir?
Good evening. Yeah, I'm good.
Now, Ray just gave you a fantastic introduction, and
right.
And the song that he mentioned, I Want You Back. It's very iconic on our scene. How old is that song?
It's 29 years old.
Jesus.
Wow.
29 years old. And I've been told that it's still being played. Well,
still being played, still
sounds
open
fresh. And the
still sounds fresh.
Parties. Sorry?
Still sounds fresh.
Yeah, it does. It's just one of those tracks that we've done, and it's just had longevity. All the street people love it. All the rare groovers, everyone loves the song. It's just, it's one of those songs that
I always also play "Ain't No Casanova" as well.
Yeah, that was
that one, Rich.
That's the one. Iconic 12-inch. Yes, I got that.
Wow.
What was the inspiration for? What was the inspiration for "I Want You Back," Sinclair?
Basically, with "I Want You Back," what we did, we just took a couple of samples, and myself and one of the other guys who I worked with back in the day, his name's Dwayne Burke. He actually put the rhythm track together, and then we just started writing some lyrics to it, and that's how it came out. I mean, the whole story about this is that we wanted to just do something that was very different, but we also wanted to try and fool people sometimes, because back then in the 90s, that song was recorded in 92, and everyone's into American R&B stuff. So this is the story behind it now. What we did, we had a black label, and we put a little American flag on it. We thought, well, we're going to just trick people, because no one ain't going to know. No one is never going to think that this is a UK artist. So what we did, we put it out there, and it was like, wow, who's this guy? Everyone was shopping.
Where did you go? And so where was it? What kind of shops? Where did you take that?
Oh, back in the day, you had records, you had Bluebird, as you know, them guys, Parade Street Records, just everywhere. I mean, all the dub vendors everywhere. Back in the day, you could walk into radio stations and say, "Listen, play this tune for me now." Back in the day, you could do that. Obviously, you can't do that now. It doesn't work like that anymore, because the industry's just changed so much. But that's what happened with us on that particular tune, and it's just done well ever since.
And you're still making music,
whatever you're from.
Originally Middlesex.
Okay.
And you're still making music today?
Oh, absolutely. I'm more behind the scenes. I'm producing stuff. writing stuff for publishing, all that kind of stuff. I'm currently putting a little EP together for myself. Just kind of giving back. I being behind the scenes is kind of nice because I really love production, right? Yeah. So that's what I've been doing. At present, I'm working with a guy called Davey Hall, who's out there now doing some reggae stuff.
Did you say reggae?
Yes, man. Yes, man. I'm originally from a reggae band.
Now tell the audience your relationship with reggae, because I've found out that you was in a reggae group that responsible for some iconic lovers rock reggae music.
Yes. Well, I was in a band called The Administrators.
Oh wow!
But saying that, at the time, those guys had all those iconic tracks. I wasn't in the band; I had already left the band.
Oh,
but I still sang on. I was still in the camp. I was just doing lots of backing vocals, all that kind of stuff for them. So I actually sang on most of the tracks that they've recorded. Hand clapping, foot stamping music, and she's my lady and she's so divine. All that kind of stuff, all reggae stuff that those guys do. And those tracks were hit for those guys as well back in the day.
Did you listen to any sound systems like back in the day?
Oh wow, sound systems. To be honest with you, I did, but there was so much stuff going on. I was back in the day. You'd go out, you'd go to somewhere like, I don't know, Dalston, QB's, All Nations, just all the standard clubs from back in the day, where all us guys, even you guys yourself, went to, right? So I used to listen to everyone. So George, there was loads of people at the time. We used to go to Granaries, this place, and back then, when I want you back was that you'd just be everywhere. I was just always out gigging. I remember there was one Christmas I did about 5 gigs in one night and came on with a bag of money, fruit all on the bed.
Turkey was nice that Christmas.
Yeah, man, it was really good. It was good. Back in the day, it was really, really good,
And so globally, right, where would you say is one of your most farthest, craziest places that you've been booked to do a gig then?
Probably just mostly Europe, really. I mean, a lot of Germany, Switzerland, all those kind of places. Didn't get to America. Right. Although when I got signed off of the back of I Want You Back, it was a world deal. So the tracks were out in Japan, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We used to do like for Ain't No Casanova, that was something like top 30 hit or something. I did Top of the Pops and all that kind of stuff with it. And that single you just actually showed. I mean, we did like a PA tour. I don't know, for it to be. We had back then. Yes, that's the one. Back then we didn't have any. We weren't really doing much videos back then. Yeah. Although there was a video for Ain't No Casanova, which was okay. It's out there. It's on YouTube. But we did like 6-week PA tour. So we'd do like 3 nights a week. In the days we'd do radio shows and 3 shows a night for about 6 weeks. So we'd do Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So 3 shows on one night, 3 shows on the next night, 3 shows on the next night. And then in a day, it would be just radio interviews all day. So jumping from radio stations to radio stations. And it became a top 30.
Wicked.
So tonight we're going to hear 2 songs. One is a brand new track. Well, brand newish. It came out last year in the pandemic.
Yes. It's a track called So Lovely. And it was released on 31st of October.
And we're also going to hear your classic. And we're also going to hear that dancehall classic, I Want You Back, as well, that you've got for us as well.
No problem.
Yeah. So producers, can we take it away? Reggie, can you introduce Sinclair, please?
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, or should I say, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, all types of people listening in on and online, we got a special treat for you. We're going to take you back in the day to when you used to wear winkle pickers, Federici, and also Sergio Tashini. We're going to take you back into the day when you used to nicely ask a lady to dance. Please give it up for the amazing, on Set the Trend, Sinclair.
Thank you very much, guys. Okay, this song was released last year, October, and it's called So Lovely. Here we go.
The vocals are still up there, though, Sinclair. Still up there. You still
I'm trying. It. Listen, mate, I'm struggling. No, I'm not really, but
wicked.
Lovely.
Nice one. Nice one.
Year, wasn't it? That track?
This was last year, October, 31st of October, I released that.
Okay, and if anybody wants to purchase that, Sinclair, how can they get hold of it?
It's everywhere in all download websites, Spotify, iTunes, it's everywhere.
Wicked.
Make sure you
go watch it.
Sorry? Are you ready to go for the? Are you ready to go for the pressure song?
The precious song. I'll give it a go. You know how it goes.
It's all right. Ray's just trying to for Fifth Avenue that plate.
I'll give it a go. Let's see if I can still drop it like I did back in the day.
Yeah, that's what we want to see.
Yeah.
Right, Reggie, do you want to give him the intro again?
Once again, please welcome back on stage, performing the classic, the amazing hit, I Want You Back. Give it up for Sinclair.
Thank you, guys. Right, this is a song recorded in 1992, which is now an anthem, a classic, so I've been told. And it's called I Want You Back. Here we go.
Oh, baby, I know you still love me. And all I want to say is, I want you back.
All the pain I've been feeling with my broken heart. Never thought you would hurt me and leave me here all on my own. You told me he was just a friend, and you've known this guy since the age of 10. Should have known, baby, that something's wrong. I was blinded by a love so strong. All the years we've been together, through thick and thin. Love is like a game, sometimes you lose, you win. But I've played this game so many, many times before. And I really know you hurt me. And I need you, baby. So come on, baby, come on, baby, come on. How much I really cared, all the good and bad times and that we shared. We were meant to be together, together for the rest of our days. But now you're seeing some other guy who promised you things that I can't buy. I can't compete with material things, cause my love for your girl means all the years we've been together, through thick and thin. Love is like a game, sometimes you lose, you win. But I played this game so many, many times before. I know you hurt me. I want you, baby, need you, honey. So come on, baby, come on, baby, baby, come on.
don't go, my baby don't, my baby don't, baby don't
Don't
go,
go.
my baby don't, my baby don't.
I need
My
you,
baby don't, my baby don't, baby don't go.
Ting-a-ling-a-ling, school bell a ring, Sinclair compound set the
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Wicked. Oh,
I don't,
man.
you know what,
Thank you
Sinclair,
so
I don't
much.
even think you really know how much that track means to us street sounds. I really don't think you are aware of how iconic it is. When you set out to do a tune, you know, one of it is that you want it to be a success. But
Yes.
when you look at other icons, you know, you probably look at some of your icons that you maybe studied your music off of and say, yeah, all right, I like Luther maybe, or I like hearing how Whitney sings, or I like hearing how this person sings. And I want a classic record like that to be sung 20 years, 30 years on. But did you think that you would actually have that track? And what does this track mean to you?
Okay, for starters, I'll say this. On me growing up listening to music, it was always about production. And as you said, Ray, listening to all the great artists, whether it be Nat King Cole, Luther Vandross, Whitney, anyone, we were Jeff Lober, all these guys, all the jazz guys, Joe Samples, George Benson's, anyone you can think of, jazz, R&B, that kind of stuff. It was always about studying. Like us guys, we used to just, you know, sit down and just really study, listen to the music, listen to the production. I mean, back in the day, I would know like who played on it, like bass player, the guitar. It could have been Nathan East, bass player. It could have been, you know, Jeff Lober on keys or George Duke on keyboards, just everyone. So I was always studying. So for me, it's always been about the production and the whole package. It has to be correct. You know, for me, if it ain't right, there's no point in doing it. So it has to be correct. So whenever I go to put something out, if it's not happening, it's not going to be going out. It has to be on point.
Yeah, but did you think that nearly 30 years on, that track would still be played?
No, I didn't really know, because you just don't know. You just don't know what's going to happen, do you? You just don't. You just you know, you put a track out there, hoping that it's going to do its best, and you know, this one just
that when you had the finished product track, you must have known that you had something there, because that track.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Diamonds in the rough track. You know,
I mean, yes. I mean, when we finished it, you know, lots of people were passing through the studio at the time, and it was like, I remember one day, we must have been on it all night, and we must have left about 11 o'clock in the morning, and Maxi Priest came in the studio, and so he come upstairs and he was just listening to the tune, and it was just blasting it, tearing it through the speakers. It was like, wow. So he goes, boy, Sinclair, you know, the tune bad, you know. Oh, yeah, man, the tune bad. Because, yeah, man. So, you know, we kind of knew we had something.
Yeah.
And, you know, and when we put it out, it was just everywhere. I mean, it really did work. Yes. You know,
can I ask what your feelings are on because at the moment a lot of new age producers, especially the youngsters, are digging into the old tracks, sampling and revoicing on either house beats or grime or drill. What if somebody were to do that with your record and came to you and said, right, you know what, I want to put out your record again as a modern day production house tune? What's your feelings about that as a purist?
Well, to be honest with you, there are a lot of new guys out there, man. Honestly, like, you know, we're from an older generation, but some of the younger guys, some of the younger cats, there's some fire going on out there. Some really good guys doing stuff. You know, the younger generation. I mean, for me, I mean, you know, if somebody wanted to do one of my songs or something, I would say just go ahead, man. I mean, it all depends. Obviously, it depends on who it is. They'd have to do it properly, you know. Because as you know, all us guys, we listen to proper music. You know, it has to be like the real deal. Otherwise, there's no point. Otherwise, is there? So,
what's the sample in the background? What's the sample of that tune that you used? Someone
for I Want You Back.
Yeah,
isn't it?
LaToya Jackson. It was LaToya Jackson.
Yes. Yeah, it was, yeah.
Right, and then it was you know, the backing track for Hill Street Blues.
Okay.
Ah.
Right. So what we did, we merged both of them together. If you really listen to it now,
yeah, I can hear it now.
You'll
Yes,
hear
yes, 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 yes. Yeah. I can
Right. So
hear
we
it.
just
Wow.
basically merged both of those together. There was quite a few people involved in it because the track at the time was while we were creating it, I had like Ashley Ingram around me at the time from Imagination, and like he produced like on the first album I did, he produced a lot of tracks on that. So he was we were in the studio anyway, just working on some of the other stuff that I was going to be doing. So he helped us rearrange the backing vocals. There was lots of people involved in it. I mean, in the camp at the time. So we had Ashley do some backing vocals, like Colin from the administrators. They were all involved in a lot of the backing vocals. So yeah, man, it was good.
Wicked,
it was good.
Wicked. You're getting so much love online in the chat. I know we're keeping you up, but Pamela Allen, Guan Sinclair, Helen Fontaine Allen, yes, Sandy Blue Tune, the fire emojis coming out everywhere. Karen saying vocals up there.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Getting lots of love.
Sinclair, thank you for coming on Set the Trend.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we hope that you won't be a stranger. Because
I'm around, you know. But I'm actually, as I said earlier, I'm actually working on a 4-track EP, which consists of a couple of things. I'll give you a little something, but there will be a nice little reggae song in there as well.
Excellent.
Cool. So where can people get hold of you if they need to connect with you on social media? Are you?
I'm on all the social media platforms, you know, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, etc. It's all there.
Is that Sinclair the artist or is
Sinclair the artist? Sinclair the artist.
Cool.
Excellent.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Sinclair. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Wow.
You know, 29 years.
Hey, I love that.
And it still sounds fresh.
Fresh.
I play that tune so much, you know. I still play it on my radio show. I know Casanova. I play that as well quite a lot.
See, and this is why I have an issue when people make spurious status that old tunes are not supposed to play again. How can you not play a classic like that?
You know,
again.
I also want to thank all the street sounds that, you know, contributed into making that song an anthem.
And Pirate Stations.
Pirate Stations, you know, sound, you know, LTD, latest edition, you know, Hyper ESQ. I mean, those sounds
Mellow Prime Time
used to rinse those records back in the day.
I remember when I used to play that on Vibes FM, man. And I remember because when I used to be on Vibes, boy, I used to play that. And I remember Courtney's come and say, "Why? You have to play reggae?" And I'll play reggae. And I'm like, "No, man, this is reggae, man. This is reggae."
Anyway, that was the show. So thank you once again to our guests, Carol Glenn, DJ Spoony, and Sinclair the Eyes. Next week, we have another bombastic, when I say this show, hot like pepper. Yeah. Next week, we have coming up. Is there producers? Can you put up the flyer for us, please? Or we can do it ourselves if you want. Thank you. Reggae music industry, well, reggae sound legend, Rory Stonelove will be in the building. And we'll be talking about his affinity with street sounds as well, and how we used to play with street sounds back in the day. So we'll be reliving some of those memories. We'll also be talking with Triple C. She's the founder of the groundbreaking record Soul Awards, and she will be on the podcast talking about her award ceremony that she's got coming up, and the award nominees and what it's all about. And Tanqueray, yeah, Hayward. I need to get that right for next week, and I'm going to need to get my front. That's such a lovely name as well, you know. I'll have to get that right. She'll be here performing. What's her hit? East?
She's got a brand new album, Definition of a Woman. It's really interesting that, you know, we've just gone from someone who's had a hit for 29 years to next week's guest who's got it's a debut album. Yep. There's a lot of new artists coming up in the scene that hasn't been, you know, when we think back, we think Gene Khan, you think all the names, you can just roll them off the tip of your tongue, but there's a new set of artists that's coming through now. And her album, Definition of Woman, is absolutely fantastic. There's so many good songs on there. I'm not going to highlight one. You know, wait until she comes on next week. She's going to be singing 2 songs, and we're going to be talking much more about the album next week.
And that's a live performance.
A live performance.
Wicked.
And she's got an amazing voice.
Cool. Thank you.
We got Shawnee B. Hold tight.
Shawnee B, 1 extra in the building, my G. Yeah, you know Rory's going to give some serious stories. This is a serious brother, and he's one of UK's finest. And he went and just bust up the place internationally. And I'm looking forward to that. As an old-time sound man myself.
What?
And
what do you mean?
And obviously, for me, he's one of the founders of a style of playing music that I ripped off.
Most of us want to play. Listen, everybody wanted that Stone Love sprinkle, man. and we all went and got. I don't know about you, but Stone Love is the reason why I went and bought a was it MPC 60 drum machine to do the drum sounds. Hey.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm telling you, legends. So looking forward to it.
So that'll be next week, same time, 10 p.m. Reggie, what are you doing in the week?
Okay, so tomorrow my radio show, I brought it back, haven't done it for years, but I'm doing my global Easter egg hunt on my radio show. So basically it's a quiz which I've so-called virtually hidden some Easter eggs around the world, and it's your job to find them. So please do tune in and play along. London Soul Radio, 8 p.m. tomorrow till 10 o'clock. And then, yeah, that's it really. Yeah, not much. Got a few African bits and pieces that I'm doing on Monday and a few in the week. So with my African record label. So apart from that, yeah, that's it really.
EastEnder?
Getting ready to reopen Maestro Records, 12th of April. Also, it's the big one tomorrow. I'm Team Isley Brothers versus Earth, Wind and Fire. And of course, Tuesday night, Facebook Live, Essential Soul Music, Soul Explosion. 10 p.m.
Did I mention it's my birthday on the 14th, Michael? So if you've got any spare birthday gift, 12 inches and music to give, that would be great.
No 12 inches for no man.
Maybe for my birthday. My birthday's on the 14th of April.
Anyway, tomorrow morning you can catch me on the Breakfast Blues. I'll be having a special guest who will be on the Breakfast Blues tomorrow morning. So he will be making an appearance even. So he'll be there. I'll also be on Pastor Flowers' live sometime in the evening, I do believe. So you can catch me with my flowered shirt on Pastor Flowers' live stream tomorrow.
Oh my god.
What else am I doing? I think that's about it. I think.
Oh yeah, big up Brownie Rockers. Great birthday. I was watching some of it back.
Yes.
So, big up Brownie Rockers
with his birthday last night till 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't get out of my bed till about 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I had my own live stream, virtual night in, but yeah, I got to catch back a bit of it. So big up.
Yeah, that's all. And if you want to see that again, that's on Darren Mouse's page as well. And also on my page, you can go and catch the link and you can live back that experience. Same as what you can do with the podcast. Even if you missed it, if you want to see it again, you can also go to our page, Set the Trend Podcast on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying to you? Because it wouldn't be anything without you guys. That's the facts of the matter. So if you can go to our page, if you haven't liked it, go and do that. You get all our alerts of when we're putting out any stuff. We also do iconic interviews that we have to give as well, which won't be live. They'll be pre-recorded. Go and check out some of the icons of the game that we've had on the podcast. So thanks to the producers in the background. Thank you very much. Thank you to you guys. Thank you to the people who are in the chat rooms. Thank you for being part of the show as well. We appreciate the love. Trust me on that.
Yeah, subscribe, share, and please, thank you to all those who've subscribed already. But spread the word, tell your friends.
And we're out of here. Peace. Love.